This is the new Jeep Gladiator. In addition to it being a highly competent mid-size pickup with great off-road capability, the doors come off, and the roof comes off, and the windshield folds down. So what I want to do here is demonstrate exactly how you take off the doors and how you take off the roof. I know the windshield also folds down, but I don't have a lot of time. So I'm just going to do the roof and the doors and try to demonstrate just how quickly you can actually get them off. I've watched some videos online and read a few things about this that say you can do this in an hour. I think I can do it in a half an hour, so let's see if that's possible. So just like the new Wrangler, every Gladiator comes with this toolkit that includes everything you need for removing the roof and the doors and the windshield. So it comes with this ratchet and 3 different bits. It also comes with this little card that tells you exactly how to get everything off. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is take off these 2 front roof panels. They're really easy to remove. So in here you've got 1 lever and then these 3, I'll call them tabs that you turn over. So 1, 2, 3, super easy. Fold this down and then first roof panel's off. And over here for the second one. 1 lever, 2, 3, and the second one. Okay, before you start to unscrew the bolts that hold in the rear part of the hardtop, you have to unclip the wiring harness that connects the rear brake light to the vehicle. So that's back here. And it's right here. So you pop this off, pull back this little red clip, and pop that off. And actually, you can pop off this little plate and it stows right in here like that. Push that down, pop this back on, and it's out of the way. Some of these plastic panels are a little finicky. I think they could have done a better job designing them to fit in a little cleaner, but nonetheless, they're really convenient, and stuff like this is pretty smart. Okay, now that that's unclipped, we can remove the bolts. There are 8 of them. 1 here, 1 here, 4 back here, and then there are 2 up here. So there's 1 there, and then 1 here. So I guess we'll start with these up here. So use this piece, and it's pretty simple. I think if you had a bigger ratchet wrench, you could get these off faster, but this one's nice and compact and it fits in the center console, so we'll take it. So another cool thing included in both the new Wrangler and the new Gladiator is that there's storage underneath the rear seat for each of these bolts. I'll show you right now. So you pop up the rear bench, pop this off, and then each of your bolts sits in here, and yeah, you don't lose them as you drive around with the roof off. So this wrench is okay, it's a little short. Once you get the bolt loose, you kind of have to undo it by hand. Because you can't actually clear this right here. And then when the bolt's loose, it doesn't really
function like a ratchet anymore, so yeah, there's a lot of hand loosening. If this bit were a little bit longer, that'd be a lot better, but oh well. Okay, there's the second one. And then there's this Velcro piece that typically covers these bolts. You just pull it off, and there you go. So, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 and 8 up top that I've already done. Multitasking. Okay, just one more to go. Okay, and now we are ready to lift the top off. I wouldn't recommend trying this with just one person, so I'm gonna have my camera person turn off the video, and we're gonna lift it off together. So yeah, it's pretty lightweight. You just get your hand, one hand under here, and then get a hand under the back, and then we're gonna lift it off to the rear. Now we've got a convertible Gladiator. So for the doors, there are 3 bolts each and 1 wiring harness each. So that's a total of 4 wiring harnesses and 12 bolts. I'll show you up close where exactly they are. So obviously you've got these 2 exterior hinges, each of which has its own bolt. Then coming around to the inside, there's a 3rd bolt here for this hinge that kind of helps the door to have that 2-stage opening feel. And then there's a wiring harness behind this plate here. So there's this little red tab here that you have to lift up. And then this white thing, it's kind of hard to get, so it helps to just use the key, pry that out, pop that up, and then you're good. There's also this fabric thing here that holds the door in place to a degree. You just have to slide that loop over, and then you're good. You're free. So now there's just 3 bolts to do, and then you can lift the door off. I'm gonna go ahead and do all 4 wiring harnesses now, just to get that part over with.
Second one, these rear ones are a lot simpler. Those you can just do with your thumb. Third one, this canvas off. Now, fourth one right there. And they're even attached, which is kind of clever. There's this little rubber hose. Okay, now to undo the screws. So there's a couple different sizes. We need the longer one for the inside hinges. Actually, I recommend doing the outside hinges first, because this hinge is the only thing keeping the door from swinging open and coming into contact with the front fender, which you obviously don't want. So it says right on here, T50, so you know you need your T50 Torx bit, which I have here. So these screws are a little bit unique. They're kind of like collars. They're not like traditional screws. You'll see what I mean in a second here. So as you undo them, you'll see that the thread is actually on the inside of the screw, and that allows the pins inside of this part of the hinge to kind of like seat in these tubes here, which is probably obvious if you've ever seen a Jeep door before. Another thing that's important to do when you're taking the doors off is to put the windows down so that they're protected inside the door and not vulnerable when you are storing the doors. Also, it makes it a lot easier to actually lift the door off the hinge when the window's down. There's one. There's two. These have their spot in the back, just like the other screws. Now, we just need to undo this hinge, and we'll be ready to lift the door off. It's actually a lot easier to use this ratchet like this. Okay. Now the front driver's side door is ready to be lifted off. So, like I said, windows down. There's actually a handle on the inside of the door pocket here. So you can see the door is swinging freely right now. Not when it's coming into contact with the fender. You really just want to not open it any wider than it is right here. But yeah, there's a nice little handle under here. You can get a good grip on this and then just lift it off. You can see how there are these little pins on the end of the hinges. And it's not that heavy. I mean, I can lift it pretty easily. Ever so gently against the top there. Yeah. One down, three to go. I'm actually going to do all 6 of the remaining exterior hinges just so I can leave this bit on. So. Yeah, I think a bigger tool would make this job a little easier. But also the fact that the tools to do this are included with the vehicle, and the fact that you can just do this in your driveway, at your friend's house, whatever, as long as you've got these tools. So yeah, you get to a point where it's too loose to use the tool anymore, but it's not quite loose enough to, there we go. Two. Three. Four. You know, it's a special car when people just drive by and smile at you. Five. Six. Okay. Done with the exterior hinges. I put my longer bit on, and I can do the interior hinges. These go really fast once you get them loose because you can just hold the bit with your fingers and then undo it by hand while applying pressure with your left hand here. There's one. And I'm just going to take the door off. So left hand on the inside, right hand on the door frame, keeping it steady. Just lift her off. Okay. Just two more of these to go. One.
bolts away. There you go. So you can see these were from the top, these 8. These were from the exterior door hinges, and then these were the 4 from the interior door hinges. And if you were to take the windshield, well, if you were to fold the windshield down, these 4 spots are for the windshield bolts. So, yeah. Put your tool away. Go. So now we've got a roofless, doorless Gladiator, and 20 minutes, half an hour. So a lot simpler than on the old Wranglers, and altogether a pretty smart design. You know, it looks clean with everything off. It looks like it was designed to have the roof and doors off. Still got the windshield up. We've got this nice roll cage here. So, yeah, that's how you take the roof and doors off of the new Jeep Gladiator.